There we are. We are connected. Fantastic. All right, 6 p.m. Second stream of the day. Just got off the Yang Gang report live, or what do they call it? I think they just call it the Yang Gang report. Yeah, kind of an interesting topic today. We are going to be talking about kind of sort of what a world without intellectual property might look like, which I know is like you hear me say that and it sounds pretty crazy. Like, what? How does that work? It's ultimately it's actually pretty simple. So it's, in short, it's shifting the point of payment for content, medicine, tech, whatever, from the point of distribution to the point of production. And this is something that we already do. So let's break this down a little bit. I want to break this down a little bit, but I also want to wait for more viewers. So I'm going to repeat all of that in a minute here. Yeah, once we get some people on, it'll be fun. We'll get going, and then we'll talk about what a world without intellectual property might look like. And just to be clear, this is not my idea. I stole this directly from a YouTuber named Unique Nameosaurus. This auto spelling got it pretty close. But yeah, he's got like a 45 minute video about it. 46-minute video about it, but it makes like a lot of sense. Like, he makes all of the points, he covers all the corner cases, and I'm not going to repeat the whole video here. But like, it's not some crazy conspiracy. Like, it's a pretty sensible thing. It's like he's basically advocating for a continuation in the direction that we already are going, but that we need to get we need to get some laws out of the way. The name of the video is "Creators Should Not Own Their Creations," and I'm actually just going to put the link to the video in the chat right here. So that should pop up on all platforms. Get on there. So yeah, and I was just kind of reviewing it right before the stream a little bit, because there's like I said, there's a lot of like little details about it, but I want to also wait till we get like a viewer or something. So I'm gonna see if I can promote this a little bit, get some more people on, because I'd love to be able to have like a conversation about it. Yeah, I'm live on Twitter. Still no viewers. Let's check out YouTube. Yep, I'm live on YouTube. I am interested just to see if my view counter is bad. I've been wondering that for a while. And then, you know what? I don't have the Facebook app on here, I don't think. Yeah, I've tried to avoid it, but I think it'd be worth downloading. Yeah, so just hanging out, waiting for a viewer, some viewers, and I'd love to talk about this some more. Can I get people? So, is this my first stream where I've been verified? When did I get verified? Was it this week or last week? Let's just share this in you know what? I'm going to, I've been wondering, I think sometimes people tweet at me, like tweet under the video, and it doesn't come through on my comments, which is frustrating. Yeah. And it's not coming through. Oops. Yeah, so the tweets don't come through. That's really annoying. You know what, let's do this. Are there people watching? That's why. There are people watching on Twitter, and it's not showing up on my view counter, because Restream isn't doing it. Sweet, all right, cool. Well, go ahead and say hi in the Twitter thread. I'll keep it pulled up here, so I can see comments. But yeah, so the thing we're talking about today is a world with zero intellectual property. So the concept at its core, I know it sounds crazy, but it's just a continuation of something that we're already doing, which is shifting the point of payment for things like media, content, medication, technology, whatever, from the point of distribution to the point of production. So at its core, that's all it is. Again, we already do stuff like this. So there's to give some examples: Kickstarter, Patreon, GoFundMe. Intellectual property laws serve to protect large corporations, the interests of large corporations, so that way they can make massive profit margins on their content. So whether Disney is obviously like a huge, probably like one of the biggest, Disney and big pharma, so the pharmaceutical companies, are probably the biggest offenders of this, where, if you try to use the Mickey Mouse, if you try to show Mickey Mouse somewhere without Disney's authorization, Disney will sue you. Or if you try to make insulin and undercut the prices, then you'll get sued and you'll get cease and desisted. But intellectual property laws don't protect small creators at all, and small creators are already trying to find ways around this. So they, instead of trying to get jobs at big media companies, now they are running basically their own business and leveraging Patreon and commissioned art, commissioned content, and Kickstarters, GoFundMes, leveraging advertising revenue and other stuff to make ends meet and to be able to continue creating their content. And it's preferable, and this is a system that absolutely can work. So there are so many different things to go over, but to give like an example, Avengers Endgame had a budget of about $350 million. $350 million. I'm always staring at the translator, the transcription, and so I'm always trying to get that right. And then, but there's a Kickstarter that raised $300 million that a lot of people haven't even heard of. It's called Star Citizen. It's a video game, and the Avengers Endgame trailer has like 140 million views on YouTube, whereas the trailer for Star Citizen has like less than 2 million. And so you have these projects that are ultimately like way smaller and have a way smaller fan base that are able to raise almost as much money. You can still get all the big production things that we look for. All that same kind of content is still accessible. We're just funding it in a different way. I'm just checking my Twitter comments. So yeah, and looking at things like pharmaceutical companies, like we saw this was a big deal with the COVID-19 vaccine, about like whether or not President Biden should send an executive order to release the intellectual property for the vaccine so they could be made elsewhere, which I supported doing. And of course we see this jacking up insulin prices. We see problems with Apple, I remember back in the days when Apple and Samsung used to sue each other over stuff, and that limited technology gains. But there are these fears that like, oh well, then what are you going to do if somebody steals your art? And I mean, for one, people already do that. That's a thing. But ethics exist. So, for example, Sony released a PlayStation 5 trailer, and the animation was like almost a carbon copy of an animation made by of animations made by other creators, but there was like no credit given to it or anything. And the community spoke out very strongly, and Sony then ended up taking it down. There was this huge PR problem, this big backlash, and so again, it's about this idea that like the money can be made, the projects that want to get created can be created, but right now so much is limited, so much stuff that we want to see doesn't happen because you have like for example like video games not coming out with new content because the code is has DRM, digital rights management, on it. And so users can't create more content or whatever, even though they want to, and they want to create mods, which ultimately help the publicity of the game and help it to spread. But the fundamental concept here is that creators should not own their creations, and that it's really important to fans who is actually creating something. A MAGA stream, not necessarily. No, I mean, like I accept everybody. I'll create solutions that include all people. So whoever you are, you're welcome. So yeah, no, but no, I'm talking about imagining a world with zero intellectual property, and this is based off a concept. Sweet, you just smoked a bunch of ivermectin. Hilarious. It sounds like, yeah, I don't think smoking ivermectin is I don't think it's gonna work out in your favor. So I hope you go see a medical professional. I think that would be in your best interest. You got a little buzz and you're safe from COVID. Hilarious. You're so funny. No, but yeah, so this idea that if we shift the point of payment from the point of if we shift payment from the point of distribution to the point of production, we can still get all the content we're looking for. We can still get funding for all the medicines that we want, and better medicines that happen more efficiently and at better prices. And we can actually like better enjoy the content that we have, and demand for content will work better. It won't be kind of safe. It won't be like guarded. What's the word I'm looking for? Like walled garden, like gate kept by like weird by like lawyers and corporate boards and stuff. So yeah, that's like I said, I don't want to repeat everything that's in that 46-minute video I was talking about earlier that I put in the chat. But I think it's a cool idea. I think the idea of a world with no intellectual property makes a lot of sense. Once you actually like dive in and you're like, oh, this totally works, and it's already working. And if we take away corporations' power to abuse people with it, then it can only get better from there. So yeah, just thinking about like what it could be too would just be incredible, because if people, as we've seen from COVID, if people want something and they can't get it the way they used to, they'll just change the way that they get it. So whether you're talking about too many streaming services and now people are going back to pirating, if you're talking about people shifting to Amazon rather than stopping buying things or whatever, if you're talking about whatever art you're talking about, there's so many different ways to do it. So yep, that's really what this is about. I want to see if I got any comments on Twitter here, because it didn't show up in my friggin' restream. On there, but feel free to comment if you have any questions or if there's something you want to talk about. My Twitch friend who just smoked a bunch of ivermectin, is there something you'd rather talk about instead? Because I'm usually pretty open in talking about whatever on my streams. I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives, so whatever issues are on your mind, or even if they're not issues, you just want to talk about whatever bullcrap, I'm totally down, man. I talk about politics all day long. I'm totally cool to have a more casual conversation. The color of your name on my screen has like, it like blends in with the exact color of my restream background, so it's like impossible to read. Oh, I could highlight it. Tilgen, yeah. This might help. Only a little bit. Cool. So I've been just talking at the screen for a good 10-15 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you want to talk about? Or want me to go over like specific ideas with this concept that didn't make sense? Just go ahead and throw it in the chat. Say something. I'm totally down to. Oh, TC. Thanks. TC. You've been watching me all day long. I have what it takes. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's a lot to do. I know. Oh, you watched me yesterday too. And so yeah, talking about what's happening with this district. It's things are switching up. One of the candidates just switched from Texas 35 to Texas 21. That was David Anderson. He did that today. But you know, Greg's still in the race, obviously. So that's going to be tough. But we'll see what Claudia does. We'll see if sounds like there still might be one or two other people joining. That I've heard some rumors, but you know, we'll see how things shape up. This is going to be an interesting race in Texas 35 for sure. Oh, and I watched that clip that you sent me, TC. Yeah, that was good, and I definitely want to. I'm definitely gonna pull some stuff out of that. I'm probably gonna actually put some of that up on my website, going over the Supreme Court justice thing, going over the minimum wage. I need to rewrite that whole page. Shai made some really good points that just, my explanation was very poor, and so I want to have that at the top of the page so people can view it. But yeah, I'm super down to talk about whatever. Or if people have questions about voting method reform, that's always fun. I'm going to remove that. All right, well, I'm not going to drag it out then. I started on time, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. Unless something else comes up. But I appreciate those of you who have joined. Oh, here we go. TC said you've been working on the stream from last night, and you caught me on Yang Gang. Yeah, I was on the Yang Gang report, literally right before this. I didn't really have a chance to look at the comments while I was there, but yeah, you saw David on there too. So we were both freedom dividend candidates fighting for universal basic income. It'd be sweet to fight alongside him in Congress for universal basic income. All right. Well, I've been rambling enough. Still dropping frames, man. Just need an external GPU. That'd be fantastic. All right. Well, peace out, everybody. Have a nice evening. Oh, and I'll see you next week, if not sooner.